I'm not sure I ever shared with you how I designed the engine mounts to make the V8 fit in the FJ Cruiser. So we have this problem where about an inch to either side, they were too wide on the V8 coming down. These are the GX brackets, GX 470. I thought maybe I could drill a hole through one part. That wasn't going to work. So I came up with this idea of a rectangular plate from flat bar. And I needed 3 holes. One to secure it to the old engine mounts, which would be where this kind of where that hole is there in the regular engine mounts. Two of them are threaded and one is through hole. So you can see this is the original position where it should be, and this is now where I've moved it to the side. I cut a little out to clear that bolt. Now you can see that both of my engine mounts are out 1 inch to either side, and underneath it looks like this with the flat bar attached to the bracket and then to the engine mount offset. Now I have my 18 inches, I believe. Let's zoom in on this. Yeah, my 18 inches that I needed center to center so that I could mount this V8 engine. So just taking a quick video look down in here. That top bolt, the little black one, is actually just to keep it on straight. I drilled a hole, or there was already a hole there, yes, because usually the engine mount has a little tab that pokes up, and I use that hole to put the bolt through to keep them from twisting. So there you have it. This was my plan. If you take these brackets and you move them and flip them from left side to right side, the engine will move forward or backward a couple inches. So I had to end up using them flipped around, how I've shown. And now I can see that I'm clearing the oil pan just barely. I end up moving the brackets, tilting them at an angle, maybe to 10, 11 o'clock, and moving the engine back a little bit after I put it in and out, in and out. Here I'm showing the headers that I had, and this side would fit, the passenger side, but not the driver side because of the steering shaft. Looking under, I have the bracket mounted and then the engine mount, and I ended up lowering it down with the engine mounts loosely attached. So there's the steering shaft down there, and I wasn't able to use these headers. I ended up getting stock GX 470 exhaust manifolds with cats, so I could clear that, have plenty of room there. Had to do a body lift as well, 2 inches, because those spacers move the engine upward, and with the transmission and the way the V8 all hooks together, it needed that extra space. Just looking here, that extra pipe there that sticks out was the problem that hit the steering shaft. And so I would have to, custom weld that and bring it in and merge it with one of these other pipes or the next cylinder over, to clear or to make room. Yep, kind of getting that from there to there somehow. I didn't want to do any of that work, and that thing, it may crack anyways if I tried to weld it or get someone to, with all the heat and expansion. Alright, so looking at this, I was able to lower it down little by little until it fit in, and like I said, had to move it back a little more toward the firewall after I swapped those engine brackets around left to right, because that brought it forward too much. So it was just playing with those dimensions back and forth, back and forth. Here we can see the exhaust manifold coming down, and how close it is to the firewall. And then looking from underneath, the steering shaft and the space I kind of had for the exhaust on that side. I've already gotten through this, and this part of the project is already done, luckily, and finished, but I remember I had these old videos and I never actually showed how I had mounted it and what I used, what materials and so forth. So originally I thought I was going to have to do diff drop, but once I lifted the body by 2 inches, I didn't need it anymore. Here you see plenty of space between the diff and the oil pan. Right now in the final design I have a little bit of space. I saw that bolt was sticking through from the bracket and I didn't want that, so I had to hack that off. And here, this is one of the original GX manifolds put on, but you can see it has plenty of space between the steering shaft, which is great, but it's been cut off because the cats were stolen, so I had to buy a new one to replace that. And this was how much space I had in the front. Kind of look at the engine and the height of it in here. Plenty of room to close the hood, so no problem there. And there is the end of the bracket. I ended up painting them, priming and painting them after.